How many of you have tried affirmations? You know, repeating positive phrases to yourself like, I am confident, I am successful, or my personal favorite, I will not hit snooze 5 times tomorrow morning. But let's cut to the chase. Do affirmations actually work, or are they just really fancy placebos? Can telling yourself you're awesome every day actually make you awesome, or are we all just fooling ourselves with sticky notes? So, what exactly are affirmations? In the simplest terms, affirmations are positive statements that you repeat to yourself in order to challenge and overcome negative thoughts. They're like the motivational quotes of the self-help world, short, sweet, and ideally making you feel like a superhero. For example, instead of thinking, ugh, I'm terrible at public speaking, you might start telling yourself, I am confident and articulate when speaking to groups. Or instead of I'm always late, you start saying I am organized and punctual. The idea is that over time, these positive statements will start to reshape how you see yourself, turning you into the person you want to be. Easy, right? But here's the big question. Does telling yourself you're confident and organized actually make you confident and organized? Or is it just wishful thinking with a sprinkle of optimism? Let's find out. All right, let's get sciencey for a second. What's actually happening in your brain when you use affirmations? Well, it turns out that affirmations tap into something called self-affirmation theory. This theory suggests that we're all motivated to maintain a positive self-image, and affirmations help us do just that by reinforcing our sense of self-worth. When you repeat positive affirmations, you're essentially training your brain to focus on your strengths and abilities, instead of getting stuck in a loop of negative self-talk. It's kind of like flipping a switch from I can't to I totally can. Your brain loves this because it helps reduce stress and anxiety while boosting your mood. There's even research to back this up. Studies have shown that practicing self-affirmation activates the ventromedial prefrontal cortex, a part of the brain associated with self-processing and reward. This means that when you affirm yourself, your brain actually rewards you with feel-good chemicals like dopamine, making you feel more confident and motivated. So in a way, affirmations are like little brain hacks that help you feel good about yourself. Okay, so affirmations might sound great, but here's the plot twist. Could they just be a really fancy placebo? You know, like when you take a sugar pill and think it's medicine, but the only reason you feel better is because you believe it works. Well, affirmations might be doing the same thing. Some researchers argue that affirmations are essentially a psychological placebo. They don't actually change anything about your abilities or reality, they just change how you feel about yourself in the moment. Think about it. When you tell yourself, I am confident, you might not magically become more confident, but you start to believe it just enough to act more confidently. And here's the kicker. Sometimes that's enough to make a difference. So, are affirmations really working, or are they just tricking your brain into feeling better? The answer is a bit of both. While affirmations may not actually change who you are overnight, they can help create a mindset shift that makes you act differently. And in the world of psychology, perception can sometimes be more powerful than reality. All right, let's talk about the power of repetition. You've probably heard the phrase, fake it till you make it, right? Well, affirmations are basically the epitome of that idea. The more you repeat a positive statement, the more your brain starts to believe it. This is because your brain loves patterns. When you repeat something often enough, your brain starts to create new neural pathways around that idea, making it easier for you to believe it and act on it. It's like learning a new skill. At first, it feels awkward and unnatural, but over time, it becomes second nature. So when you're repeating affirmations like, I am worthy or I am successful, you're essentially rewiring your brain to see yourself in a more positive light. And the more you do it, the stronger those neural pathways become. But here's the catch. It's not just about saying the words, it's about believing them. If you're repeating affirmations, but deep down you're thinking, yeah, right, I don't believe this at all, then your brain is probably not going to buy it. The key is to pick affirmations that feel somewhat believable, even if they're a stretch. That way you're not totally fooling yourself. You're just nudging yourself in the right direction. Okay, time for some real talk. Not all affirmations are created equal, and sometimes they can actually backfire. Yep, you heard me right. Here's the thing. If your affirmations are too unrealistic, they can end up making you feel worse, not better. For example, if you're constantly telling yourself, I am perfect, but you know deep down that nobody's perfect, and let's be honest, you're probably your own worst critic, that affirmation might just remind you of all the ways you don't feel perfect. It's like trying to convince yourself that you're already at the finish line when you're still standing at the starting block. Instead of motivating you, it can create this internal tension where part of you is like, who are we kidding? This is why some psychologists caution against using affirmations that are too far from your current reality. Instead of saying, I am perfect, try something more grounded, like I'm working on being the best version of myself. That way, your brain isn't doing mental gymnastics trying to bridge the gap between where you are and where you want to be. You're still focusing on growth and positivity, but in a way that feels achievable and real. Alright, here's the deal. Affirmations are great, but they're not a magic spell. Just saying I am successful isn't going to suddenly make success fall into your lap. Affirmations can help you shift your mindset, but at some point, you've got to pair them with action. Think of affirmations as the mental fuel, but action is the vehicle that actually gets you to your destination. Saying I am confident can give you the boost you need to take that first step, but you still have to take the step. So if you're using affirmations, but not actually following through with any action, it's kind of like sitting in a parked car and hoping it'll drive itself. Spoiler, it won't. The real power of affirmations comes when you combine them with action. Use them to motivate yourself, to shift your mindset, but don't forget to back them up with actual effort. Whether it's practicing a skill, taking a risk, or putting yourself out there, the combination of affirmations and action is what creates real change. So, do affirmations work for everyone? Short answer, not necessarily. Long answer, it depends on the person. Some people respond really well to affirmations. They feel more confident, more motivated, and more focused. For others, affirmations might feel forced or even uncomfortable, like trying to wear shoes that are 2 sizes too small. It all comes down to personality, mindset, and how you naturally process information. If you're someone who thrives on positive self-talk, affirmations might be a great tool for you. But if you're more of a realist or a bit skeptical about the whole positive thinking thing, affirmations might not have the same effect. And that's okay. Affirmations aren't a one-size-fits-all solution. The key is to find what works for you. If affirmations feel empowering, go for it. If not, there are plenty of other ways to boost your confidence and motivation, like setting goals, practicing gratitude, or working with a coach or therapist. Now, speaking of taking action, if you've been enjoying this deep dive into the world of affirmations, why not take a moment to hit that subscribe button? It's like an affirmation for your brain that you want to keep learning and growing with us. And hey, while you're at it, tap that notification bell so you never miss an update. I promise, we've got a lot more quirky, fun, and brainy topics coming your way, and you won't want to miss them. Alright, back to the affirmations. So, if you're ready to give affirmations a try, how do you make sure they actually work for you? Here are a few tips for crafting affirmations that stick. First, keep them positive and present tense. Instead of saying, I won't be anxious, try saying, I am calm and in control. Your brain responds better to positive language, and focusing on what you want to happen, rather than what you don't want, helps reinforce that desired state. Second, make them believable. Like we talked about earlier, if your affirmation is too far from reality, your brain will call your bluff. Instead of I am a millionaire, try I am working toward financial success. And finally, keep them personal. Make your affirmation specific to your goals and values. If it doesn't resonate with you personally, it's not going to have the same impact. The more specific and meaningful your affirmations are, the more likely they are to stick and actually make a difference. And remember, it's not about perfection, it's about progress. Affirmations are there to remind you that you're moving in the right direction, even if you're not there yet. So, do affirmations work? The answer is, kind of. They're not magic and they won't change your life overnight. But when used consistently and paired with action, affirmations can help shift your mindset, boost your confidence, and keep you focused on your goals. At the end of the day, affirmations are just one tool in the self-help toolbox. If they work for you, awesome. If not, that's okay too. The important thing is to find what motivates you, what keeps you moving forward, and what helps you believe in yourself. So whether you're all about the sticky notes or prefer a different approach, just remember, you've got this.